Hello and welcome into the CLNS Red Sox Roundtable. This is Nick Qualia. It is July 21st, a Friday, and today for this roundtable, we don't exactly have anybody else from CLNS. We decided to bring in a guest today from CouchGuySports.com. He's one of their baseball writers, covers baseball, basketball, realistically any sport. Nick Cherico, how are we today, Nick?
We're doing good.
Good. All right.
Excited to talk some Red Sox.
A lot of big topics this week. The biggest topic that I think, and that we're going to touch base on for the most part in this episode today, is the conversation surrounding third base. So obviously Pablo Sandoval was DFA'd, designated for assignment, sent away. Now he's just officially been released by the Red Sox as of a couple of days ago. Obviously still remaining that big void over at third base. Currently, it's kind of a revolving door over at third base between Devin Marrero, Zhu Wei Lin, and now Brock Holt's back too. And it seemed earlier in the week that the Red Sox were going to finally fill that void. It seemed like the Red Sox were going to get Todd Frazier. Earlier on, there was a lot of talk that the deal was basically all set, that the Red Sox basically had Todd Frazier locked up with a possibility of Robertson thrown into the deal as a relief pitcher. But the biggest focal point for the Red Sox, it seemed as though it was Todd Frazier. The conversation seemed like it was already set. There was a lot of reports saying that the Red Sox had this locked up for the most part, and I even saw one that said it's basically just comes down to the medical reports, whether or not Todd, who's healthy. Yeah, exactly. And there was just a lot of general talk about that, and then all of a sudden we slide in later into the night, and the Yankees jumped in, and the Yankees grabbed Todd Frazier and Robertson instead. Now, we're not going to talk about the trade itself. We're going to talk about what the Red Sox can now do to fill that third base void, except the main topic is going to be a name that popped up, and we're going to talk about whether or not we actually think that he could fit into the Red Sox system, and if the trade would even be possible. It came up to be Manny Machado. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say rumor, but there was speculation whether or not that could actually happen. The Orioles, obviously, in a downward tailspin right now. The Red Sox trying to fill that third base void. It makes sense in that regard, but does it make sense for the Red Sox to make this move and for the Orioles to make this move? Do you think this would ever be a possibility to bring Manny Machado to this team this season?
See, I feel like, so if we're getting Machado, we have to give up Devers, right? Would you say that?
Yeah, and that's the toughest part, because Dombrowski's already drained this farm system dry. What else can you give up?
Exactly. That's what we know Dombrowski's very willing to give up on a top prospect if it means he can get a guy like when he got Sale or Machado. And I think Machado would fit well here this season. He'd obviously he's a great third baseman. He's not having one of his better years, but still, he's a great third baseman. I think this year it doesn't seem like it's that possible to me, just because of I feel like now, right now at the trade deadline, the Orioles would ask for way too much just because of that need for the Red Sox, and I don't know, it seems tough right now.
Yeah, and you know what? Not only that, it's the name Manny Machado is going to obviously draw a big return for the Orioles, and rightfully so. If you're the Baltimore Orioles, you're not just going to take some middle-of-the-road guy. You're going to take a big-name prospect who you think could pan out and potentially be your future third baseman or fill any needs that you need on the team on the roster right now. And regardless of the stats, Manny Machado right now isn't really having the season that you'd really expect out of Manny Machado. He's hitting .237 right now. That's clearly the lowest batting average that he's had since becoming a starter in the major leagues. Last year, at .294 with 37 bombs. This year, the power's still there with 18 home runs so far, but he's only hitting .237. Now, do you think that if, let's say hypothetically, the Red Sox were to make this deal, do you think that the Red Sox, do you think Manny Machado could even fit that system? Do you think Manny Machado could play here and be a solid teammate to the Red Sox? Because, I mean, think about earlier on in the season with everybody throwing at him. Do you think that they could push that aside?
I think if he were to come here, I think they like could they could all throw that away. Like, because now if he would be here, they'd all have the same goal. I think that's I think it's a little bit more played out than it actually is. The whole beef that he has with everyone here, if it even exists. I just think I don't know. I think he could do it here.
Now, the beef to me, usually I think it's just kind of played up by the media, but at the same time, you got to remember after the night that Chris Sale threw at him behind him. After the game, he went on a huge rant, a very not safe for work NSFW rant, talking about how he's lost respect for this organization. If they're going to hit him, just hit him. Which, granted, I'll give that to him. It was pretty pathetic that they tried to hit him multiple times and they just could not hit him. Matt Barnes, different conversation for a different day. Don't throw it at a guy's head. But Chris Sale did it right, and Chris Sale missed him. Erod tried to hit him, and Erod missed him too. They couldn't do it, and it really set him off to the point where he said that he just didn't respect this team. Those are some pretty harsh words. And for me personally, I'm not sure if we as Red Sox fans, we could get over that because we just want the Red Sox to win. But the team, it's a big roster. It's a big roster. Somebody like Chris Sale, to me, I feel like Chris Sale would not be able to exactly get over that hump right away. It might take him a little bit. But I don't want to cause any rifts right now because you got to remember the AL East is still very close. And I think Manny Machado's in 237. The team's looking for power. I don't think you could – I don't know if Manny Machado coming into the system right now is really going to help the team as much as it could maybe next year. I don't think it ever would. And also, going to a different reason why I don't think it would ever work, I don't think the Orioles would ever be that stupid to trade Manny Machado to an in-division team.
Yeah, we know that they're sellers for their bullpen right now, but if selling on Machado, that would mean like a complete, they'd blow it all up. And especially in division, that would kill them, I think.
Exactly, and selling Machado is basically saying that we're looking to rebuild right now.
Yeah,
it's not saying that we will. It's not saying that we think that we even have a chance this year or next year. Because selling Machado's still under contract for another couple of seasons. Selling Machado would mean that this team, they're giving up. They're giving up for right now, and you would be trading for prospects. And that's another. Who do the Red Sox have left to give up? Who's of the correct clout to even get somebody like Manny Machado? It would have to be Rafael Devers. And because Rafael Devers is a part of the conversation, and 100% would be a part of the conversation, I never make this trade in a million years. Manny Machado isn't worth giving up Rafael Devers because, quite frankly, with the way Rafael Devers has been playing in Portland and now Pawtucket, starting off very hot in Pawtucket, I do not want to give this man up. He could be the Red Sox team. He could be the Red Sox third baseman for the next 10 years. He could be the next superstar up here. And I'm sick of giving away superstars in the farm system.
Yeah, it's something Nebraska loves to do.
and he's been known for it.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't really part of the conversation today, but another rumor that went around was, you know what, the conversation today can just be rumored third baseman covering the Red Sox. There was random talk about Miguel Cabrera. I believe, wasn't that Alex Rodriguez who brought that up?
Yep, A-Rod.
A-Rod brought that up. I want to say that was just speculation. But Miguel Cabrera's got 6 years, over $150 million left on his deal.
Yeah, I don't want that. What is he, like 35 too?
He's 34 right now. By the end
34.
of his contract, he's going to be 40 years old.
Yeah, no thanks.
You're not giving up, and that's the same thing. With a man of that clout, you're giving up Rafael Devers. I'm not giving up a young stud who might be the next Miguel Cabrera for a guy who's 34 years old. He's also having a down year, and Miguel Cabrera can't play third base. But you would have to put him over at first base, which means either Moreland or Hanley are going to be a part of the deal.
I mean,
so what are you giving up? What are you giving up if you're just going to deal Hanley or Ramirez? You're not doing anything for your team. If anything, Hanley's a second half player. You're going to get worse.
You know, I agree with that. I was just thinking, if I were to give up one of the two, I would probably go with Hanley. I think.
Over Mitch?
I think so.
I can't.
He's-
I can't. I
I'm
can't.
not saying I want to, but if I had to pick one of the two, I would probably go with Hanley. Just, I don't like how he's been looking recently. This whole year, he's just looked off, like not really into it. His numbers haven't been as great as they were last year. But like you said, he is a second half player. He stepped it up. He stepped up huge last year after the All-Star break. So
And he's stepped it up so far since the
recently,
All-Star break.
yeah, the other night when he hit that moon shot, what was it, the 15th inning against Toronto?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was a swing that was just saying, I just need to go home and go to bed.
Exactly.
He didn't even celebrate. He was just like, F this, I'm going home. But yeah, I mean, those were two big conversation topics that came up this past week with third base. Nick, thank you for coming on. Make sure you check out his articles on couchguysports.com. Nick, thank you very much for coming on, my man.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for listening into the CLNS Red Sox Roundtable. I am Nick Qualia alongside Nick Cherico of couchguysports.com. Have a good night, everybody.